Hey, we're going to talk about personal boundaries versus oneness. Like, what's the difference and how to have personal boundaries for yourself. Listen, if you want to thrive in relationships and having a significant other, we all understand that it first starts with ourselves, because at the end of the day, we can't ask people, we can, it just doesn't get us very far, but we can't ask other people to give us things that we're unwilling to give ourselves. So we're going to talk about like why personal boundaries is going to make you feel really safe in your relationship. It's going to make you feel powerful. It's going to make you feel in charge and less of a victim. And let's just be honest, sometimes our biggest fears come up when we're in relationship. But how can we exercise some personal boundaries so that we can just feel good and show up in the world feeling free and peaceful and not so chaotic on the inside? So, personal boundaries versus oneness. So, personal boundaries means I am responsible for myself. Personal boundaries is I get to teach the world how to treat me. I get to teach my family, I get to teach my friends, my coworkers, my colleagues, and my significant other or the people that I date. But first, I get to teach myself how I'm going to treat myself. And we don't talk about this enough, right? We are really good at like, let's find red flags in other people. Let's see who's the narcissist, and everything is very outward. The problem with this is when everything's outward is that we're always in victim mode. We're always in survival mode, looking for the next attack. It's just like the guy out hunting, thousands of years ago, and that survival instinct kicks in. He's just like, oh my God, it's unsafe. I gotta wait for the next lion or bear to kill so that I can then feed my family. We're not in that place, but our bodies sometimes feel that way. And so we're always looking outside for danger. But what we don't realize is by exercising personal boundaries, we get to create safety on the inside, so we're not always operating from a very high alert state. So that's what we know about personal boundaries, but let's talk about oneness. Now, this is probably something that more pertains to like the spiritual community, people who are like, I'm spiritual, we're all one, but if we're all one and I've got my heart open, like, how do I protect myself, Arica? How do I defend myself if we're all one? It's like, the Lion King, it's like the circle of life. It's like we're all together in this. But I love this quote by Maya Angelou, and I'm going to read it to you, and I don't have it memorized, but I'm going to pull it up. And it's so wise what she says. She says, "You only are free when you realize you belong no place, you belong every place, and no place at all. The price is high." And I believe that describes oneness in a very beautiful way. I like to say it in a way, and I don't know if Brene Brown wrote it this way, but it was a way I interpreted it was, I belong to everyone, I belong to no one, and I belong to someone. And so in that state of oneness, it's like we are all together. So like if someone violates your boundaries and they purposely hurt you, guess what? They are purposely hurting themselves and they don't even realize it. Why? Because we're all connected. You do something behind someone's back and you're being sneaky and you cause a disruption in their life when they find out, guess what? You've just done that to yourself, because we are all one. We all have an impact on each other, whether we want to take on that responsibility or not. It's just the law of the land. This is how life operates. These are the natural laws that are in state. So yes, we do belong to everyone. And this is why it's even more crucial to have those personal boundaries, because you know that life is all about cause and effect. And so if you're out purposely hurting people, it's only a matter of time before you eat the fruit of your reward. You've gone out and sowed those seeds, so you're going to come back and you're going to eat those seeds. So we want to have personal boundaries so that we can fit along with this world more peacefully, because we are one. And I'll say this is a magical thing about boundaries. When people have good boundaries and they practice with themselves, they're accountable to themselves, they're responsible for themselves. When they show up in the world, somehow life is just easier and sweeter and more beautiful for them. Why? Because they're in sync, they're in flow. Why are they in flow? Because they're in flow with themselves. And so it's really important, like here's the thing, life is beautiful about always mirroring back to us what's going on inside. If you're in a relationship, I think that relationships are the best way to see what's going on in you. Yeah, you can be off meditating at a beach in Tahiti and feeling very zen, but when you get in a relationship and you have a constant mirror, you get to see what's really going on the inside of you. Life has the same way of working. So when disruptions, when agitations, when frustrations, when things aren't working our way in the way we want them to, we have to come back to ourselves and say, am I out of sync with myself? And if I'm out of sync with myself, what boundaries am I breaking? And so some good just overview personal boundaries is really taking care of yourself, like taking care of yourself mentally, spiritually, physically. Are you doing that? Are you laying on the couch and watching way too much TV, eating way too much junk food, looking at social media and listening to too many negative stories? If you're doing that, you're not caring for yourself. You're violating the boundary of, I'm here to take care of myself. I love myself. I value myself. And because I love myself, I want to execute boundaries, because at the end of the day, we all want to be loved, but it always starts with ourselves. So I hope that helps you understand what we're talking about here. And listen, I have a great video. Like when we talk about personal boundaries, it's really about loving yourself. It's really about seeing yourself as someone valuable that you want to take care of. And I have a wonderful video that I did that shares my own journey of how I learned to love myself, because it's such a broad, ambiguous concept, but how do you practically love yourself? Because the more you love yourself, the more personal boundaries you're going to have. The more personal boundaries you have, the more respected and loved you're going to be in your relationship. The more succinct you're going to be with life. You're going to be in flow with life, not going against it. So make sure that you watch that video. Listen, at the end of the day, it first starts with you understanding that you are precious. There's not another person on this planet like you. Do you know how lucky we are to have you? Do you know how precious you are? Do you know what you mean to this world? Because we are connected. We're all one. And so I want to encourage you, I beg of you, start treating yourself like you're valuable, and start with those personal boundaries. Make a list. What are the things that are important to me in a relationship? How do I want a person to treat me in a relationship? Then take that whole list, reverse engineer, and go, am I doing this for myself? Am I loving myself this way? And that's what you start making of. These are the personal boundaries that I need in order for me to feel loved and safe and appreciated and valued and respected in this world. This is how I need to show up for myself. Now listen, I want to know in the comments section below if this made sense to you, and what are some personal boundaries? Tell me. I want to know what personal boundaries you're going to put in place. And if this helped you, make sure you subscribe and share it with people, because this is a really powerful video. And also at the end, I've got a video here about how you gaslight yourself. And this is the ultimate way that we break our boundaries. Yeah, we're worried about other people gaslighting us, but sometimes we can gaslight ourselves. So make sure you watch that video. I love you so much. Keep coming back. We've got more life-changing videos coming your way. You take care of you.